Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Debaters Bops and Banter. This is episode 60. I'm eating some crackers.
Whoa, that's crazy, man.
Um,
What kind of
Good stuff.
crackers are you eating?
they're just saltines.
They're just saltines?
That's nice. We don't have like we have stuff like snacks to eat, but nothing that I want to eat. So
Have you considered toasted crackers? Those are good.
I probably should. Yeah, welcome back, episode 60. I just realized we usually have like channel.
This is actually going to be episode 59, because I'm going to make the
Alright,
last episode 58.5.
Okay, this is episode 59.
Yeah.
I lied to everyone. So next week we got the channel thoughts.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm one of your hosts, Joe. I'm here with my co-host Brendan,
Hi, I'm the co-host, Brendan.
and we're here with a guest. Oh boy!
Hi, I'm a guest. Oh boy.
Hi, guest
Congratulations. Well, we got a pretty good show coming up. Right. This is going really good.
Are you still eating them?
Because it's funny.
Part of the show.
Yeah. First, we got some music and movie news. Then we're talking about the question of the week, which is what is the best instrument. Then we're going to be talking about the album Mother Earth's Plantasia by Mort Garson. And then we're going to be discussing Princess Mononoke, the wonderful Ghibli movie. No. There we go.
More saltine noises throughout.
Look forward to those. So, yeah, without further ado, let's get into the news. It's been a little while since we did news, but I didn't get much. Anyway, first, Kendrick Lamar says he's currently producing his final album with Top Dog Entertainment. Probably won't mean it's his last album, but it's probably his last album on that label. I doubt Kendrick would just stop making music.
Yeah, that would be kind of weird. He seems to like making music, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then next in music news, actually the only other thing in music news, this bitch Kanye West has announced another Donda album listening event in Chicago. It's going to be on the 26th.
We'll see how this goes.
He actually releases his album.
It's never coming out.
Probably won't happen.
It's never happening.
Yeah. And then in movie news, we got the trailer for No Way Home. It was actually leaked.
Oh, really? When did that show up?
Like I forget when it happened. Like a couple days ago, some website leaked it on accident. But now the official one's out. And yeah, it seems pretty cool. It's like multiverse shit. It's Spider-Verse basically.
Sounds fun.
Yeah, but also there's also I'm pretty sure the Sinister Six are part of it. So
cool.
It's very cool. We got Spider-Man 2, the Doc Ock in the trailer, and also there's Green Goblin, and the laugh sounds like Willem Dafoe. So I'm really excited. I really hope it is. But yeah.
Something of a goblin myself.
With that, let's move on to the question of the week that we asked like a month ago.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
But what's the best instrument, everyone? I'll start. It's steel drums.
Fuck you.
No.
It's steel drums.
Suck. They suck.
Oh, don't like
I'm not saying that to piss Brendan off, but I do like steel drums. They're very nice sounding.
I don't agree.
I find them interesting. Best instrument territory, I would heartily disagree. I'm biased, but I'm gonna go with piano/keyboard.
Okay.
Where's another instrument where you can like put the letters in order and it makes somewhat of some sense?
So I take you're a big accordion fan.
I dig accordion.
Yeah. All right. The accordion doesn't really get a lot of love, so.
And in terms of like, is it my favorite instrument? No, but do I think it's cool? Absolutely. And do I like respect the hell out of people who can play the accordion? Yes.
Okay.
Because it's hard to make that look cool, but some of them pull it off.
So my like kind of cop out answer, I think, is just a computer, because being able to sample stuff
doesn't count. It's not. Doesn't have a specific purpose for music. Okay.
Yes, it does.
A computer?
Yeah, a DAW.
No. I'd argue that's like a tool, not a thing that makes music. Like, I'd argue an instrument has to be something that produces music.
That's
literally
something whose entire.
No.
I mean, this goes into like the. I don't know. I think a computer is more for like. You can absolutely make original music on the computer, but like a lot of the time you're mimicking other instruments in order to do so, or taking other music and splicing it together. So like in terms of original like instrument composition, like the computer needs to use other instruments.
I mean,
so it's not its own sound.
That's what a synth is doing, though. I mean, a synth is making its own sound, but it's usually trying to copy other sounds or similar things. But that's, I mean, like that's again, like that was sort of the cop-out answer.
Okay, what's the
DAW is something that you put sounds together in.
Okay,
it doesn't like produce those sounds on its own. Yeah, it has things that can make it sounds, and if you wanted to say like a sampler, then yeah, sure.
Well, like it has
or like a MIDI plugin or something.
I mean, MIDI stuff.
Go ahead.
But there's so many plugins that you can use. But anyways, my more real answer, because you guys don't whatever, is cowbell. Cowbell is actually the best instrument. It sounds great. Yes, it does. And also, it is a natural thing, which wasn't meant to really be part of pre-assembled music, and it has since been adopted into that sphere. And I think that is quite, it's really what music is all about. It's about finding beauty in the world around you and the sounds of the world around you.
I can get behind that. At the same time, what are your thoughts on two sticks that people pick off the ground and whack them together?
No, they don't sound as good as cowbell. If they sounded as good as cowbell, yes.
So you would be surprised at the sound quality some people get off of two very well polished sticks being whacked together.
I'm just gonna say I'm gonna disagree with cowbell. Like, I don't mind cowbell. It's like a nice thing to have in a song, but it's so specific. Like,
yes.
You need it. Like, it only works in like certain things, really. And there's nothing like there's no like variety you can do with it. It just makes the cowbell sound.
Yes.
And then you're good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Your point?
It's a situational best.
It's still the best.
All right. All right. Well, my actual answer is just it's a guitar. It's a guitar. Plus
boring.
Pedals.
Okay. Better now.
I dig it. I dig it.
Like, a guitar normally is like fine. It's kind of boring, but when you put effects on it, when you have like something that allows you to just fuck with the sounds you get out of it and add like reverb and like distort it in all sorts of ways, that's when it's like, yes, this is really cool. So yeah, specifically, I'd say specifically electric guitars.
Well, yeah, you can't really put pedals on acoustic guitars.
You could try.
Someone probably has, Brent.
Well, that would make it electric, though.
But is an acoustic guitar defined by it not being electric or by the sound that it makes?
Well,
I'm pretty
I think it's defined by not being.
Because if it sounds and looks like an acoustic guitar that you can put like effects on, then
but then would no longer sound like an acoustic guitar. And also, so the thing is, acoustic guitars and electric guitars are different in how they create their sound. With acoustic guitars, it's literally echoing outside. I forget what the chamber. It's echoing out into the chamber, or from the chamber rather. Where electric guitars, you are creating waves using by strumming the strings, and those waves are interpreted by a amp usually.
So, I mean, and then when you take a computer and you tell it to replicate that, it's trying to replicate that sound quality.
Exactly. So like, you could
make the argument that, like, you could have an acoustic and then apply effects to it because you're trying to apply effects to that echoed chamber sound. You could potentially make that argument.
Yeah, you would have to record the acoustic and then do that, and you can't really do that with pedals. I mean, you
except
not live anyway.
You can do it with a microphone and pedals.
There are acoustic electric guitars though.
Show me one. I mean, so they have the chamber and they're also creating the electrical waves. But you can't.
I believe so.
It's going. There's still going to be that acoustic sound that you can't change using electronics. Yeah.
Can I find?
Yeah, there are.
Like you can literally Google it. It's like literally a section of Guitar Center and stuff. It just says acoustic electric, does it not? It says acoustic electric in it. There's not. There's a photo.
Yeah, it's easy to find. A lot of places to buy them. All right, which is best?
These are just acoustics, is what I'm seeing when I Google it.
It says a regular acoustic doesn't have any electronics that amplify its sound acoustically, whereas an acoustic electric guitar has an electronic pickup offering the option to plug into an acoustic amp mixer or PA system. Sure. Yeah. Why not?
Okay, yeah. You're still... Okay, so this is just recording that sound out of the chamber.
Oh, here we go. Technically, a standard acoustic and electroacoustic are still both acoustic guitars because they both still produce sound acoustically.
Yep.
Let's go.
So you're saying electric guitar is your favorite?
Yeah. I don't know why I argued with this. I don't even like it. I'd prefer just a straight electric guitar to an acoustic electric. So.
I feel like most people do. Electric guitars are way nicer.
They just sound good.
But yeah, there you go. That was a question of the week. Next week we're doing
There's no question next week.
No question next week. Do you want to choose one for the week after?
We can choose that next week.
That's fair. All right, cool. All right. With that, let's go to the album.
Wow.
The album.
Wow.
The album. Brendan.
Ow.
Yes.
So this week's album is Mother Earth's Plantasia by Mort Garson. I chose this album because we were having Mike and Jacob on, and I wanted to choose something that I think they would both like. I don't know if Mike likes it. He probably does. This album appeals to indie kids, and Mike's kind of an indie kid, but I also feel like it's kind of like video game music. I don't know. Jacob likes video game music, so I was trying to find something that they could both, mesh over or something. This album came out in 1975, 76, 76. It's a very early work in electronic music. It's one of the first synthesizer only albums to exist. The music on this album was composed entirely for plants to listen to. You got a CD of it, or not a CD, you got a vinyl. They didn't have CDs in 1976, well, as I was saying.
You got a vinyl CD of it, and then you had to wait 10 or 15 years for a CD player to be invented.
Yeah. But you got a vinyl of it when you bought a plant at like some plant store. So not a lot of people really knew about this album because it kind of didn't exist, and then it's kind of acquired a cult following over the years, and I think rightfully so. I must say, it's very.
Oh. Yeah, I'm sorry. You would only have to wait 7 years.
7
The CD player was 1982.
Nice.
Yeah.
Also, I out of curiosity, I looked it up. So you could also happen to get it if you got a Simmons mattress at Sears. That's the other way you could get it.
Why a
Let's
mattress?
go.
Yes. I looked up the album because I was just like, I wanted to learn more about it. And yeah, plant music, you could get it if you got it at a plant store called Mother Earth on Melrose Avenue in LA, or a Simmons mattress at Sears. I guess they didn't promote it.
Let's go.
Apparently. But yeah, this sounds pretty cool, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of it definitely gives like vibes of different planet. It reminds me a lot of the movie Fantastic Planet. I don't know why. Well, the music in that movie is kind of similar to this, but I listened to this first, so I don't know if that comparison works. But it's very like chill, and just kind of vibing, honestly.
Yeah.
You know, you can listen to plant music while you you smoke some plant, if you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? I don't think this would be a good album to get high to. I don't know, maybe.
No, I think it would be.
Probably.
It's very like
chill.
atmospheric and chill, yeah. Wow. I'm gonna say that personally. I really enjoyed this record.
Agreed. This was
How
a
many
lot of
saltines have you eaten at this point, Joe?
I had a package. It was one package. That's all we had left, and I was like, yeah, I'll finish them off.
All right, so Joe, what's your official Saltine review?
Good.
Okay.
They're salty, and they don't have much flavor, but like that's fine. You get what you expect.
Yeah.
What would you rate them on, like, in terms of crackers? Would you say they're really high tier, low tier? Where do you?
They're like a B tier cracker.
Okay.
Like,
All right.
You know what you're getting. They're like solid, but they're definitely not like at the highs.
Stay tuned.
You know,
for...
they're like they have a nice versatility. You know, you can have them like soup and stuff.
That's true.
But not quite high tier. They don't have enough going on for that.
Right.
Stay tuned for our cracker tier list.
Yep. Who's your favorite cracker? Mine is Corey Feldman.
Ronald Reagan.
Oh no.
Brendan's gonna get canceled over that one.
Not Joe. Jacob, what did you think?
I thought this was a lot of fun, honestly. Like this, as you said, it was music to vibe to. I just kind of put on the whole album and listened to it all at once. And while I enjoyed all of them, it was sometimes hard to tell when one track faded into the next. But that was also really cool because before I knew it, the entire album was gone.
Yeah.
And I just enjoyed it. It was just a really solid, fun vibe experience.
Definitely.
Yeah, this album goes by very fast.
Yeah, it's only 30 minutes, so it's nothing.
It is. It's just it's a really nice soundscape to put on, and it is. You mentioned it's like video game music, and like that was what I got immediately from that. Is like this feels like it inspired like classic video game soundtracks.
Definitely.
Yeah. It definitely sounded like what you'd get in a verdant area, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like I could totally see some of these tracks being like the sound like these sounds are more complicated than like what a 8-bit or 16-bit console could create for the most part, but like I could definitely see that being the case for an NES or like SNES game, like these songs being there.
And these days you also get a lot of people kind of reimagining the old NES or SNES tracks with like better instruments or better sound systems, and this kind of felt like that, where you take like, because even the NES, SNES stuff, like they had really good ideas for like the core progressions and soundscapes. So it kind of feels like that, but with better instrumentation.
Honestly, like some of the compositions on like especially SNES games are very impressive to me.
Yeah,
and have aged very well, and they're interesting to go back to.
Yeah. I just a lot of the stuff like some tracks on here, like stuff like Rhapsody in Green, reminds me of like Super Mario Galaxy music.
Yeah.
Like really heavily.
The sweeping.
Yeah, but also you have like the follow up track, Swingin'
Spathifilms.
Which kind of sounds like a Mario Sunshine track almost.
Yeah, I was thinking. I was more thinking like Super Mario World. Like it feels like.
Yeah, maybe.
You know.
Yeah, like the one place it sounded like Galaxy to me, like if it would be anywhere, it would be like the Gusty Garden Galaxy, which makes sense. But like, yeah, for the most part, it felt more like kind of the outdoorsy areas in the other games, just because Galaxy puts such a huge emphasis on like the massive orchestral tracks, whereas this held very heavily to the synth because it was all synth.
Yeah. You know, it's really yeah, I don't know. This album's just very wonderful.
It really is.
It is. Or you go.
No, you go.
I guess I wanted to say is that I find that I don't. There aren't like individual tracks to go back to on this. I just go back and play the whole album.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it doesn't really feel like. It doesn't feel like this album is made up of individual tracks. It feels more like they all like flow into each other.
Yeah.
In a way that makes it more of just an album experience. There aren't like it's not a singles album, basically. That makes for just a really relaxing time. You know?
Definitely. I have to agree with you. Like, I don't think I would ever like. There's no single song I can pick out from this album and be like, yes, this song is the song to listen to, because it all is just. It feels very complete, and the 30-minute runtime is, not at all like, oh man, I gotta get invested in this undertaking of listening to an album. One thing
it should have been 2 hours long.
I
want to
listen to it 4 times. Problem solved.
There you go.
There we go. One thing I really appreciate is that this album has gained this cult following over recent years, because I think it's like a great album to share with other people. I feel like most people are gonna vibe with this album, whether they're coming from a video game background or they just haven't really. Even if you haven't heard anything like this before, I think this is something that I feel like pretty much everybody can get behind. It's just it's a good time. It's a good time.
Yeah. Good. Great time.
Great time.
Someone's
fantastic time.
Just the best time.
Yeah.
Sage, rosemary, and thyme.
Oh, some plants. Topical.
Yeah.
Some spices.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So y'all grown any plants recently?
I mean, I went peach and blueberry picking. I harvested some plants. Didn't do the growing myself.
I should do that. Oh my god, it's almost fall. You can go like apple picking. Might get some apple cider donuts this fall.
Oh, those are so. I need to find like a pick your own place up near campus.
Yeah,
I could go more fruit. So I'm running out of peaches. I've got 1 peach left from home, and then back to grocery stores.
What are you gonna do?
Cry and get grocery store fruit.
Yeah,
and probably look for another pick your own place around here so I can get a ton of apples. But, all right, favorite fruits. What are your favorite
fruits?
And this is with it being the best it can possibly be, because some fruits are like either a huge hit or a huge miss. Like absolute best quality possible favorite fruit.
It really depends upon
Ooh,
the day. There's like a lot of really good fruits. I'm a big
Yeah.
fan of strawberries, pineapples. It's probably it might be between those two. I'm also like I really like clementines. Like a really
Those
good
are
clementine is great. Clementines usually they're not like ripe enough, but oh man, it's avocado. Avocado is a fruit too. Avocado is pretty good.
Yes, it is.
Man,
What about you, Joe?
I gotta say mango.
mango?
Mango is
Yeah.
just amazing. They
That's
are
my favorite.
so annoying to like actually cut open and like get the flesh off of, but they're amazing.
Like, I feel like mangoes are a pain in the ass to like obtain the fruit part of it, and like it's a hit or a miss. Like, so it's so hard to get a good mango, but if you get a good mango, it's the best
Yeah.
thing.
Also nectarines, really great. They're like peaches, but like without the fuzz. It's just
But
like
you just wash off the fuzz. It takes like a second.
yeah, but like that takes more work.
You should be washing your fruit anyways.
I do, but
Okay.
like it would take extra work to wash
I
the fuzz
see.
off. Okay.
Also,
Yeah, no, it would be easier with nectarines, but the peaches, the skin has a good texture. Like nectarines, the skin can be a bit rubbery.
That I like that about the nectar.
Okay,
Like,
well,
it
if it's a plus for you, that's better.
It's like it's hard to describe the skin. It's like closer to an apple, I guess. I like that more.
But apples have the like firmness underneath; they have the crunch.
Yeah.
Whereas nectarines just have the squish.
Yeah. The squish is good.
The squish is good.
I want to give a shout out to specifically Granny Smith apples because they are the best like baking or cooking apple.
This is fair.
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair. Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, for eating
So if you-
apples, I like the Gala apples. Those are good.
Eating is like Honeycrisp, I'd say.
Oh, you're a
Honeycrisp
sweeter
is
apple.
really
I
good.
like Granny Smiths for eating too.
Mm.
So
Can we all agree that Red Delicious apples are terrible?
yes,
Agreed.
They're waxy.
Garbage.
They don't even taste. They're bitter.
No,
It's
nothing
not
about
good.
them is good, except for they look nice, and then you go, oh wait, this is just awful.
Yeah,
This
they were
is
like
higher
the
experience.
only apples I
just
ate when I
wanted
was a kid. Was Red Delicious,
Oh.
and then I grew up and I
Yeah.
was like, wow, how did I do that?
Also, shout out to watermelon on a hot day
Oh.
and cherry.
Watermelon, yes. Watermelon is also up there. I like some cantaloupe as well.
I'm not a big melon guy.
Ridiculous.
Like besides
I
watermelon.
like watermelon. Yeah, I like watermelon. I've never been a huge on the cantaloupe or honeydew.
I love both of them. Like if you get a really good honeydew, it's like yes. Although most of the time it's not very good.
Yeah. I feel
Oh,
like
God,
I've just
really
had so
good one?
few
Oh.
good honeydews. But like the good ones have been really good, but like it's been like 2 out of 30 in my life have been good.
Like I'm okay with them in like fruit salad, but that's because you got like grapes and stuff to make up for, the sweetness.
Yeah. I feel like grapes, it's more about the texture than the flavor a lot of the time.
Just the pop of the grape.
It needs to be you need firm grapes.
Mm-hmm. You do. Squishy grapes, not it. They're not it.
So bad. Hate them. But my roommate got a bag of green grapes the other night, and they were really firm, and I just kind of kept stealing them because they were really good.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Anyway,
Now that
this
we're done with our
album
fruit
is
tangent.
like really great. Like it's the album genuinely is just a really fantastic to listen through. Mainly because it feels so, I guess, unique, specifically for the time. Like if you listen to this as a modern human, you'll listen to it and be like, "Oh, I've heard stuff that sounds like this before," but then you realize it's released in 1976, and you're like, "Oh, nothing sounded like this at that time."
No.
It's just really impressive. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure the plants enjoyed it.
I hope so. Did you guys know that like music actually does help plants grow, but it doesn't really matter which music you play.
How was this tested? To just have one with a lot, like basically a bunch of different rooms, each with the same controlled climate, music, different genres in each room.
Yeah, and like one without any music. It's also, I mean, this is just like a classic, like I feel like middle school science experiment is you play music to plants. You give some like classical music because there are people like, oh, classical music helps plants grow better, and you give some like metal because metal is the opposite of classical, as we all know.
Do you think plants would like Merzbow?
Yes. Actually, I don't know. Because I don't know if any studies have been done as like why music helps plants grow. It might have to do with like repeating frequencies. But Merzbow?
Well, now I just know I need to have a death metal plant room someday.
Maybe. Yeah. So yeah. I guess do you guys have anything else you want to say? We've kind of covered it, really.
It's good. It's enjoyable. It doesn't take long. This is a good.
Yeah.
Definitely. I'm glad that I got to share this with y'all, considering I had listened to this and I guess neither of you had. But yeah, this is like one of my favorite, just like chill, electronic projects. It's like a 9 out of 10. It's like really great, fun to listen to. Not really any problems with it. Just like. It does kind of blend together, and that's not always a bad thing, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would agree. I also gave it a 9. It's wonderful. It's super innovative and forward-thinking, and it's a really relaxing, nice time. Yeah.
Yeah.
I will also give it a 9 out of 10. It's enjoyable. It's a good thing to just put down in the. Well, you can put it down while you do something else, or just listen to it. It can be fantastic background music, or you can just listen to it in the foreground. I don't know. 9 out of 10. Very, very solid.
Yeah.
Cool. That brings us to the movie. Princess Mononoke, directed by Hayao Miyazaki. Y'all may know Mr. Miyazaki from like 2 weeks ago when we did Howl's Moving Castle.
It was a bit more than 2 weeks ago at this point.
It was like 2 episodes ago or something.
A month. Yeah, it was pretty sure it was 2 episodes ago.
Yeah, we haven't recorded a lot of episodes.
No, three episodes ago. 3 episodes ago.
Okay.
It was yeah. All right. Who wants to introduce the movie?
So this was Mike's choice, but Mike unfortunately cannot make it today. Because he had like a movie in mind, and we were on the topic of Ghibli films, and Jacob hadn't seen Princess Mononoke, and Mike was like, Jacob, you have to see this movie, and then here we are. So thank you, Mike.
I have now watched the movie.
Good choice. This is like, so I guess like a little bit of background about the film if people haven't seen it. There's this dude, he gets demon slapped, and he's like, hey, I need to get the demon out of me. And so he goes on a little adventure, and there's a forest, and there's these people mining iron and killing the forest in the process of mining iron, and the forest isn't happy. And then there's other deforestation going on in other parts of the world, and so the animals from those forests migrate over here, and then there's a big fight between those other animals and the iron people, and the iron people win, and then they try and kill a god, and then they do kill the god, but then they give the god's head back to the god, and then God undies, and then everybody loves the forest. Does that make sense?
Well,
I feel like I might have skipped a couple things.
I don't think the god fully undied.
Well, he dies, but he replenishes the forest as he goes, essentially.
Yes, it's more of a like he is. They're like, oh, he is life itself. He cannot truly die. But like, you don't have a wandering around, not personification, but like physical form for this being anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I don't think if you dunk anyone in the pool, you're getting any life juice anymore.
Yes. However, there's still the little guys.
Well, those were just part of the forest, and like the guy said, those were part of the forest even back where he came from.
Yeah, but they're showing that the forest is healthy. It's really funny. Like as a kid, I watched this movie like a couple times, and I was just like a little funny little forest spirit. And then watching it now, I'm like, oh, deforestation stuff, but also funny little forest spirit.
Yes.
Yeah. This film is heavily themed about the environment. Very much pro nature, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does anybody?
This is a very like, I don't know. There's a lot of different ways that you can take this film. My personal one is about like the coexistence and how like it can be managed. It's really tough, but you can probably manage it.
Mm-hmm.
Like really, everyone has to do their part. I was talking to one of my family members, and they had gotten like a completely different message from it about like you can't coexist fully, and like people need to stop and like quit what they're doing, and like it's not going to work. And I thought, and like that humanity was evil, and it was really just kind of an interesting thing that like depending on how you already see the world, you might get a completely different take on the movie.
I can see that. I more agree with the coexistence theme, and I think that's very much represented by Princess Mononoke herself, and the fact that she is a human coexisting with the forest, but she has learned from the forest and has taken it in as part of herself, whereas the people of Irontown, they see the forest as resource, and therefore the coexistence there doesn't work. You like, even as Ashitaka is saving the two guys who got wounded and carrying them through the forest, you can see that they are, they're scared of the forest, even though it's doing nothing to them.
And like, I feel like lack of understanding between the groups was kind of at the core of what was going wrong throughout the whole movie. Like, San didn't understand, or Princess Mononoke, they didn't understand like why they were doing what they were doing, and like most of the people of Iron Village were not evil. Like, the movie made it very clear, like these were people just trying to live their lives, but they were doing it in a really harmful way that like didn't realize what they were doing to the world around them. And like they only really realized when their town got exploded by Green God.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, maybe we won't do this again. Huh.
Yeah, that's one thing. One of the things that gets me about this film is like, so the Eboshi goes from literally killing the forest god to being like, hey, we gotta do things very differently, like very fast. Which, to be fair, the forest god did just kind of like explode after she killed him. But it felt like very much a sharp 180 at the very end of the film. I don't know.
It did, but at the same time, if you consider so she comes up with this elaborate plan thinking, okay, this guy will die, and then nothing will protect the forest, we can mine our iron, we can gain our resources, and then forest god dies, the entire forest and everything in it starts to get insta-killed, her arm gets bitten off by a jumping head, and like her village gets blasted to bits. and then they have to give the head back anyway.
Oh, well, she doesn't care about the head, but yeah.
No, but like it's pretty like that would be a pretty solid wake up call for just about anyone.
I watched this with a friend, and after the movie ended, I was like, "Hey, if real forests, when you killed them, they like exploded and started killing everything around them, I feel like deforestation would be much less of a problem in our world today." So I am for forest gods exploding. If the forest gods are out there, start.
You guys know it's oh god.
Maybe that's what the wildfires in California are.
I mean, the funny thing is those are also partially caused by people refusing to let the forests get burned.
Mm-hmm. We don't really have to.
Yeah.
We don't have to worry that much about deforestation in those forests. There's some other forests that I think we should be worried about. Joe, you've been kind of silent. Something up?
I don't know. It's been like 2 weeks since I watched the film, so my memories of it are like a bit cloudy.
Okay.
What I enjoyed it. I agree with what's being said. Yeah.
I guess one thing that I want to say about this film is just like other Miyazaki films, this film is beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. There are I appreciate a lot of the focus on nature in this film, and it's specifically like nature of this world, which I don't feel like you get a lot in other Miyazaki movies. Like there's some in Totoro, in Nausicaa has like similar themes, but that's a very different world. So
Howl's Moving Castle has the garden with his getaway garden.
But Nausicaa's like the positive version of Starship Troopers.
Kind of. Nausicaa's not like that positive. Well, it's not that.
Well, it's like it has a happy ending.
I get. There's a lot. There's some rough patches during it.
Next time I'm on the show, I'll have watched Nausicaa.
I want to rewatch Nausicaa like soon. I've been kind of getting a hankering for Nausicaa, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do like kind of the deeper forest aspects of this film. I think it's cool.
Yeah. I do think it was interesting. Ashitaka, the main dude, he was really unfazed by having killed a few dudes with his demon arm.
Demon arms do that. It happens.
Like, I mean, he was portrayed as like a pretty like normal, selfless dude until then, and then like he continued to be portrayed as like a super selfless dude and also just a Superman at various points of the film. But like aside from that, dude's like firing arrow to protect himself, and it just like his arm wiggles and then takes dude 2 arms both off at the same time. Next one just head. He gets aimbot stuck to his arm.
Yes.
With magic.
And
barely react.
I there's other things to worry about in that situation, considering those guys are like trying to kill you. Also, your aimbot arm is slowly killing you. So
I mean, I get that he has other things going on, but like you'd expect some reaction.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, maybe a little bit. You get used to having demons in your arm.
You would know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Demon. Sorry.
No, I will say this film was a lot more violent than I was expecting it to be.
Yes.
And especially, the only other film or Miyazaki film I've seen that is like somewhat close is Howl's Moving Castle. In Howl's Moving Castle, you don't really see any of the violence.
Howl's Moving Castle is much more explosion-y violent.
Yeah.
Where, like, you don't see
you're always kind of removed, whereas here you're very much, it's in your face. The giant boar, demon board, has a very gruesome death, like 5 minutes in. So.
And I mean, the number of
off.
Yeah, missing limbs were a popular fad in this movie.
Mm-hmm. I definitely think that this is one of Miyazaki's more I think it's one of his more ambitious films, and also one of his more adult films as well. Because I definitely feel like a lot of the theming here would be lost, and it was lost on me as a child. I know that, but it's very interesting. It's also, I think, one of his longer films.
Really?
Pretty sure it's his longest.
It might be his longest, yeah.
I don't think there's anything that's quite as long as it. We can check. Mononoke, it's 2 hours, like 14 minutes.
Yeah, it's quite long for Miyazaki.
Yes, it is.
It
is his longest film. And then The Wind Rises. Man, I want to see The Wind Rises again too.
Was that one good? I know it was like the most recent Miyazaki one.
Well, The Wind Rises
and then he
makes
was like
me cry.
retired and is unretired again.
Yeah, The Wind Rises makes me cry, so I think it's very good.
I'll give it a watch.
It's about a plane designer during World War II Japan.
Bro, he ripped off Martin Scorsese. It's The Aviator.
I think Miyazaki's take is a bit different. I haven't seen The Aviator, but yeah. Damn.
Okay, so I was like gonna search Miyazaki movies to see the whole list. The second it goes Miyazaki movies, then Miyazaki Dark Souls.
Let's go.
Why?
Dark Souls.
He really is the Dark Souls of animators or directors.
Yes.
Yeah.
What do I want to say about Princess Mononoke? I feel like there's a lot to this film. It's kind of it's a lot.
This film was a lot. It was not like a happy ride all the way through by any means.
No. You guys have any issues with this film?
I mean, you were talking about the very sudden flip at the end, and I think that San also had a very sudden flip when it came to Ashitaka. Like, she was like, "No, I hate you. I'm going to kill you. You just saved me from people. I'm going to kill you anyway." Then he goes, "You are very pretty," and she goes, "Well, maybe not so bad after all." Like saving her life had absolutely no impact on her stance towards him. Yeah, you're very pretty. It's just immediate 180.
Yeah. There's
character alignment seemed to shuffle pretty easily.
Yeah. I mean, this film I feel like could have been longer, and had some more space at times. There's also one problem I have with this film is there are times where it very much fails at show don't tell. There's specifically I remember a scene where he's carrying the dudes, the injured dudes, and they get to the magical lake in the forest, and you can very obviously tell it's magical, And
Yeah.
like there's that establishment, like, okay, it's magical. And then Ashitaka's like, oh, this must be magical water. I'm like, yes, I got that part. And there's just like a couple times like that throughout the film where I'm like, you
That's
didn't.
like in most Miyazaki movies.
I
Characters
know.
will say things that are very obvious.
Yeah.
That happens a lot in Spirited Away.
I know. I
like
have problems with Spirited Away, so.
Ooh.
But that's just like, I mean, that's just like a nitpick about this film, and quite a few of his other films, but for the most part, it's great. It's got all that hand-drawn animation.
It's so beautiful.
It is very beautiful.
It is. One of his prettier films, I think.
And especially because he's focused so much on the landscapes, because they're kind of the centerpiece of the plot.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's just, if anything, even more detail than usual put into them. It's a good one.
Yeah. 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 I don't know. I don't have a ton to say about the film, I must say. Part of that is because I watched it 2 weeks ago and I don't remember. Like, after 2 weeks, my, like, brain starts to be like, I don't know. I don't know what the film was about, buddy. But, yeah. It was good.
It's good.
It's good.
It's good.
It's good. It's sobering. It's thought-provoking. It's a bit too close to home.
Yeah. I must say, like, I wouldn't recommend this film as your first Miyazaki film. This is definitely something I think you should, maybe like third or fourth Miyazaki film. It's probably a good time.
The last one. The last one you watch should be Princess Mononoke.
Well, oops. I still have not watched most of them, so...
Well, I don't think this should be like the last one you watch. Because I feel like Miyazaki, his important films, you need to see Castle in the Sky, Howl's Moving Castle, Totoro, Spirited Away, and like Nausicaa, maybe. I feel like those are the essentials, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, and Princess Mononoke, so 6. Those, like, you can honestly cut Nausicaa. You can just like do those 5. I feel like those are the essentials of those. You know, Princess Mononoke shouldn't be your first. Neither should Spirited Away. Definitely like Totoro or Castle in the Sky first.
Really? I think Spirited Away is a good first Miyazaki one. It's very out there, but I think it's a good first one.
Oh no,
I thought Totoro was a perfect introduction to his works.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I started with, but like, I don't know. It's got the kind of magical feel that defines a lot of his stuff. And it's not depressing or sad and like really any
kind
place.
of sad.
A little.
At a certain point.
There's like one point where it's sad for a couple minutes, and then they're like, "Okay, well now we're gonna fix it."
I find it more depressing than this film. So
okay,
in terms of like how emotional it made me, Totoro made me a lot more emotional in this film.
The characters are a lot more easy to relate to in Totoro. Let's put it that way.
Yes, that is true.
The reason,
like that's what I was touching on with Ashitaka not really reacting when he took 2 lives.
Yeah.
Like it felt very hard to relate to him in that moment because it was like, oh god, you did multiple murders there, Bucko.
Yeah, I think. Well, I think part of it is also like conceptually, this film is just like the environment good. Don't fuck with the environment. It's a lot more conceptual, whereas Totoro is it's like about kids dealing with very real depressing problems. So yeah.
Okay, interesting. Like I think Totoro is kind of like the quintessential of Miyazaki's more like childish side, if I can say so, like the more fun side, whereas Castle in the Sky is kind of the more quintessential like magical steampunk thing that he has going on in a lot of his films. So I do think like those two are some of the more basic films in his filmography. So I think those ones are very, very good to start with. Would recommend Castle in the Sky, one of my personal favorites. Love it so much. I realize that I definitely prefer the steampunky side to the magical side. Because I got Castle in the Sky, Howl's Moving Castle, The Wind Rises, and Princess Mononoke as like my top Ghibli Miyazaki films.
I haven't seen enough to make a list like that.
Yeah, I can't either.
I've seen.
My favorite's definitely Totoro, though.
I haven't seen
really
Ponyo. That's the only one. So, yeah. I mean, I grew up on like Hayao Miyazaki films. Good childhood.
I had a few in my childhood. I mean, pretty much Kiki's Delivery Service and Totoro were like the childhood ones I watched. So those two hold a special place for me.
Yeah. I like how both of these discussions we've just veered off on either talking about fruit or just childhood Miyazaki films.
Yeah. I didn't have any childhood Miyazaki films. The only one I watched was Totoro, but it was at like some friend's birthday party, like sleepover thing, and I was like 8, and like it gave me anxiety for whatever reason. I don't know. I didn't like watching movies as a kid because I was just like, I for whatever reason they just gave me a ton of anxiety.
I mean, I don't watch that many movies, not for any particular reason. I just never think, like, what am I going to do with today, and then just sit down and watch a movie. Like, usually I have to be prompted to watch a movie, but then I'll watch the movie, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unlike Joe, who will just watch 100 movies in a month.
Because he felt like it.
He did it. He never has to do it again.
Yeah, maybe I will.
Don't.
Oh, God.
Don't test me, bitch.
You're gonna have to find 100 more movies, and you're gonna have a lot of time finding ones worth watching.
Yeah, that's fine. I watched like all the Ice Age movies last month, so like I'm fine.
All right, I'm gonna give Princess Mononoke a 9 out of 10. I like this film a lot. It's very pretty. I must say I agree with a lot of the themes it presents, and I think it presents them in a very it's mature, but it's also understandable in the way it presents them. It's not like forcing things down your throat. I feel it's very much promoting like, hey, we need to make changes. We don't need to make, we like, it's not just being like, people who hurt the environment are bad. It's like, no, we need to improve on these aspects.
I have two different scores for it in terms of like what you said, messaging and like what the film does and like the way it portrays it. Yeah, I'd give it a 9.5 on that. In terms of like the characters, like because remember we all ended up giving like Howl's Moving Castle like somewhere between an 8 and a 9, and I feel like in terms of like the characters themselves and like the character interactions and a few of the character gaps in character logic. I feel like I have to give that more of like a 7.5, but like the movie's like message and direction and like thematically it's outstanding 9.5. So I've got like I feel like combined I end up with like an 8.5,
Okay.
you know?
Yeah.
But like I feel like there's two different parts that I have to give it very different scores on.
I have to agree with you where I do think the characters in other Miyazaki films stand out a lot more than the characters in this film. This film, it's definitely more about the kind of the bigger picture.
Yes, so like big picture, 9.5 easily. Smaller picture, I think it's among the weaker one of his films I've seen.
Yep.
Yeah, that's kind of where I am at it. It's like a 8 to a 9. Like a bit closer to a 9 than an 8. I don't know. Somewhere in there.
Okay.
Yeah, cool movie, worth watching. Go wild.
Wow. Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching. And thank you for coming on, Jacob.
You're very welcome. This was fun. Thank you for having me.
Hope we didn't keep you too late.
It's all good.
Okay.
Next week we're just doing a channel discussion, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. That'll be cool.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Any final words you want to say?
I'm gonna have that last peach.
Let's go.
Nice. Let's go.
Wait, no, we can't say that anymore.
Oh. The baby is homophobic.